All right, now I'm standing here with Felix. Felix, tell me what's happening in your life right now musically.
I gotta go. I'm just kidding. There's a new Drills record coming out on the heels of a new Bon Jovi record that came out earlier this year, which I feel really proud of. There's like really cool guitar moments. I think all the songs are great. I think the band kicked it into high gear for this record. It's really exciting. So it's called Forever. If you've heard it, awesome. If you haven't heard it, you should hear it. There's one of my favorite moments is Living Proof. It's got the talk box. It's got classic Bon Jovi vibes to it. And I came up with a really cool theme. Instead of a solo, sometimes it's a theme. So the theme that happens is on my bouzouki tuning. And it was really cool. I remember being in the studio and doing the bouzouki tuning thing where I tune the E string to B and put them both in the same notch on the nut notch of the B string. And John Bon Jovi jumped off the couch and was like, "What the hell's going on?" It was bouzouki tuning and the theme. So that was a really cool moment for me in the studio.
And so the bouzouki is a reference to your Greek background.
Yes, of course. The two strings in unison, like a 12, but 8.
8 strings. Yeah. Cool. So you're here on the summit, first of all, to play with James Nickel, but also to introduce your new, I think it's an overdrive boost pedal. Can you talk about it and how would you use it?
Okay, so I love overdrive pedals. I always have an amp set like Malcolm Young, and then use an overdrive to approach more like Van Halen.
Yeah.
And that to me is the ideal situation. But every month you have a different flavor. You know, sometimes you like peach. Sometimes you like cookies and cream. Sometimes you like chocolate chip. You know, sometimes you like French fries. Sometimes you like pizza. So there's so many overdrives out there. But this circuit that I've been kind of messing with for the last like 6 months, and whatever amp I plug it into, it's amazing, and it does its job. It's exactly what I want. I can carve the tone. It's got a treble and bass, but the bass knob is very special. It doesn't get like this. A lot of bass knobs do that, and the treble doesn't get too bright and doesn't get too dark. So everything just about this is really exciting for me. But you know, when you put out a overdrive pedal, everybody's like, "So what circuit is it based on?" So what I've been saying is the overdrive circuit is based on the holy shit circuit, and then the boost circuit is based on the what the fuck circuit.
Okay.
So here you have holy shit, and here you have what the fuck. So I mean, to me, that's rock and roll. It's dangerous. It's in your face. Woo! But to get
is the boost in front of the overdrive or behind?
No, that's a good question because we have a post and pre.
Oh, okay. You switch.
So when I plug into my Friedman, and I got the, you know, like a hot rodded almost Marshall, but not too gainy. My Friedman, I can't explain it. It's just the best amp I've ever plugged into. So that amp, and I want a little more. I'll use the boost for a little and a lot. But if I plug into a cleaner combo, I'll put it in pre, and use the boost as like setting the amp, and then I'll use the overdrive as the drive. So it just it does everything.
Right.
And the Tilt EQ is amazing. When you go up there, you get more of a presence type of boost. And when you go all the way there, it's American Woman tone.
Yeah, right.
You know, the woman tone, man. But and so for me, I run overdrives 2 ways. One is the gain off and the volume up.
Yeah, it's the very one setting.
Right?
Yeah, right.
And then if I want a little less compression, I'll put this down to around 11 o'clock and turn the gain up to around 9 o'clock. And then you can mess with the EQ. Sometimes I have the treble completely off and the bass around there.
Yeah.
Because it gives me, I don't know how to explain it. It just gives me what I want. Yeah. This low mid range, if I put that there and this here, you can see, this is a great place to start for a heavy rhythm tone.
Cool.
And then to put the boost in, if I'm in post, I put that around there, and I put this around there, and then it's an amazing lead tone. So I'm getting everything I want out of one box.
Right.
I personally, for years, have used 2 or 3 overdrive pedals. Yeah. Whether I'm with if I'm with the Drills, it's 2 overdrive pedals. If I'm with Bon Jovi, it's 3 overdrive pedals, because you want different flavors. Right. So this is 2 in one box.
Right.
And I even 2 examples. Like I said, this could be your rhythm tone and this could be your lead tone. But what if I'm playing with Bon Jovi? This will be my solo tone for Born to Be My Baby, and this will be my solo tone for Lost Highway.
Yeah, right.
So you have it all there. So, I mean, everybody talks about their stuff like it's the best, right? I'm not saying it's the best, but it can give you almost anything you want.
Yeah.
And that's what's important to me.
Yeah. Thank you. And now we can maybe get to some questions about more like guitar specific ways on when you had to replace Richard Sambora and Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
How did you? First of all, how did you feel replacing somebody who's already very famous and having to go into the footstep of someone else? I mean, that's a problem many guitar players.
Yeah, but you know, it's funny because when I was approached with the idea, I was like, that's not possible.
Yeah, right.
I was on the train. There's no way somebody can do that. And then I was talking to John Shanks, who brought the whole thing to me, and he said, look, they need someone. I told him you're the guy. So, and if you don't do it, they'll just get somebody else. So you might as well just do it. And I thought, okay, I'll be the guy. Sure.
Okay.
And then, I mean, when you approach that job, let's call it a job.
Yeah.
When you approach that job, it's a matter of respect. You respect Bon Jovi, you respect Richie Sambora, you respect the fans, respect the music. That's all you got to think about.
Right.
And you step in, and then you just do the job. Now, I have a very individual Phil X vibe that can't show up 100%. So this is Richie Sambora over here, and this is Phil X over here, and there's a guy in the middle who is nameless. Because I get the question a lot. Most difficult thing that I had to learn to play with Bon Jovi, and not to sound like a dick, and not to sound like full of myself or anything like that. Nothing was technically difficult, but what is difficult is nailing the intended emotion. Like anybody can play the intro to Bed of Roses. You play the right notes, you play it in the right time, and then you've played it.
Yeah.
But did it come from here?
Right.
The intended emotion of Richie and the band when that solo was put forth was, oh my God, I want to lay someone down on a bed of roses, and I want that. This is an important emotional moment, and that those first 10, 12, whatever notes, they have to describe that. They have to characterize that. So that's just one indication, one example of how you got to play it right. You know what I mean?
But how was the situation? Like they chose 5
Wait a
tunes?
minute. I just gave you that amazing answer, and now you have another question? That's it. I'm done. I'm just kidding. No, I had to learn a show.
A whole show.
A whole show.
So there was no real casting process?
No.
Okay.
Well, I didn't audition. I met with John Shanks, who's talked to John Bon Jovi, and gave him, this is the guy you got to use. And John like, okay, if that's what you say, that's what you say. Because John Shanks knows so many people in LA and anywhere. And then when I walked into Shanks' office, he gave me a contract and a statement of confidentiality. I couldn't tell anybody. I learned a show. I remember one of the shows that I learned was Tokyo, December 2010. And John called me and said, hey man, it's John Bon Jovi. I want to fly you to New York and so you can rehearse with the band and then put you on hold for May. And this was 2011. And then it was kind of like, oh shit, this is going down. You know? So he goes, if you come out having a 2.5 hour show under your belt, we'll be fine. Now, what? So I had to learn a 2.5 hour show. And
you nailed it.
well, thanks, man. I mean, I felt like I felt really confident, you know. And then when I went to New York to rehearse, Richie at the same time went into rehab. So John said, "Did you hear about Richie?" I said, "No." He goes, "He's in rehab. You're playing on Saturday," and that was a jazz fest in New Orleans, which is like 50,000 people. So I mean, and people ask me if I was nervous, but I didn't have time to be nervous, man.
Right.
I'm talking to myself. Staying out of my head, but talking to myself, saying, look, dude, you've been singing and playing your entire life. It's just Bon Jovi songs. You got this. You're a fucking rock star. Go out there and do it. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, you know, they say, you know, there's a saying, being in the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's more important than that is delivering.
Right.
I was at the right place at the right time. And if I didn't deliver, they would have sent me home.
Yeah, right.
But instead, I did another 12 shows.
Yeah. I remember this interview that Steve Vai once did because he was famous for replacing great guitarists like Eddie Van Halen or Ingrid Malmsteen. He said, I can't afford to think about what other people might think about me.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to do my job.
Yeah. I mean, when you walk on stage and you're confident and somebody holds up a giant sign that says, "Where's Richie?" You can't let it affect you.
Yeah, right.
You just can't.
Yeah.
You know, and then I made some right moves. I won some fans over, and those fans helped me win other fans over. And, you know, some of those fans are here. They came to see me here at Guitar Summit. So that's pretty amazing too. They're really the super fan. They go to like 40 shows, 25 shows. A lot of people don't understand that. I understand that. Because think about artists. I feel like there's a moment or a lyric or a song that changed or saved your life.
Right.
And you just want to feel that as much as possible.
Right.
And sometimes it's just John Bon Jovi's fucking smile, you know?
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, music has always been my life. And I learned so much more when I started playing with this band. Mm-hmm. So, and it's stuff that I take into my life, and it's stuff that I take into my music. And I mean, I'm in an amazing position. Yeah.
So thanks a lot for taking your time to
Dude,
interview.
I'm sorry for my long answers. I can't stop talking.
We love that. We love that. Thank you.
Thank you.